Wait, what?
You have been banned from participating in Livestream Fail. You can still view and subscribe to Livestream Fail, but you won't be able to post or comment. Note from the moderators. Hey, asshole.
Oh wait, they banned you.
What?
You're banned.
Why?
That's what I think of all the Livestream Fail IDs.
The mods just have to do a better job. If you see a hate thread about somebody, just delete it.
The idea of Livestream Fails is not a problem. Comments and the people and the agendas that are pushed on there. That is the issue.
I remember when Livestream Fails used to be full of funny, awesome clips from streamers all around Twitch. And now you go there and it's just like a handful of the exact same people reacting to what this guy said about this person. This guy stole this guy's girlfriend. Can you believe that this girl showed her butt? Like, it's absolutely trash, man.
When it comes to Livestream Fails, everyone has an opinion. LSF is a subreddit that specializes in posting clips from live streams, with a particular focus on Twitch and the content surrounding the platform. Commonly used as a source of content for streamers and viewers alike, the subreddit has quickly become the best place to go when finding out what's new on Twitch. And that strikes me as interesting. Twitch, with the creation of clips, made the most viral-friendly way to advertise their platform. And then they did nothing else with that system, just letting third parties control what's popular.
Wait, what the fuck?
But if you give up the power of who decides what's popular, you allow them to shape it. LSF has been under fire for a long time by broadcasters with claims of hate threads, bullying, and playing a role in tearing down creators. While some defend the subreddit with claims that there needs to be something like LSF, we get a conversation that goes in circles. If Twitch doesn't take matters into their own hands, and trust me, a lot of people would not like that one bit, you have a community with a lot of influence running rampant and affecting their platform. And if Twitch does nothing, a third party like this will always exist. The LSF problem is a few things. It's the cycle of toxicity, it's the mob mentality, it's a hive mind, it's everything. But most importantly, it's a question that I think is quite important. Even if it goes by any other name, will there always be a Livestream Fails? Our story begins a little before LSF, in the land before time. Well, before your parents could use social media anyway. In 2005, when Reddit launched, the creators were still stacking it with fake accounts to get their website off the ground. The most popular subreddits were NSFW and programming, probably had some overlap there. Why I've brought you back to a time when WoW just launched and Netflix were still mailing people DVDs is to highlight how Reddit works. You see, it's kind of like a free market of companies. All these subreddits are like businesses that grow. They need everything from users to consume the content, posters to create, and then a little moderation and management here and there. It's this lax and loose setup that allows for subreddits to mostly have their own rules, as long as they don't breach Reddit's ever-changing core policies, of course. And it means, if a sub dies or becomes boring, a new champion will rise. The Livestream Fail we know today was created in mid-2015. It wasn't actually an active sub until a huge influx of users happened in January of the next year. The original community was Livestream Fails, which peaked at almost 50,000 subscribers. According to the original moderator, the subreddit began from a comment thread in r/funny as a place for funny livestream accidents. With its tagline, a place for fuck-ups, this community was closed on January 1st, 2016, after a rogue mod took matters into his own hands, claiming it has become a place for negativity and pitchforking. Scattered and with nowhere to go, many eventually settled on dropping the S, heading over to r/LivestreamFail, which grew to over 12,000 subscribers in 1 month.
When a post makes it to the top of Livestream Fails, that's not a vocal minority. That's the silent majority.
From its birth, the community we know today rose from the ashes of an attempt to curb the toxicity. Over time, the scope increased beyond simply fails to wins and great Twitch moments. LSF would rise to be the alternate front page of Twitch, one not so curated, one that was raw and showed what the platform really was, or so many like to think anyway. From 2017 onwards, Livestream Fails would begin its massive growth, and by 2019 would grow to be 500,000 subscribers. Almost a year later, and with many bored from worldwide lockdowns, it's actually double that, currently sitting at over 1 million subscribers. For many, the sub is used as an unbiased, unfiltered view of Twitch. There's no big papa Amazon curating your promoted streams on the front page here. Clips are presented as is for people to decide on what's popular, worthy of the front page, and most notably, if the streamer in question is cringe or not. The catch obviously being that sometimes moments are taken out of context.
Do you feel like an ungrateful little bitch?
However, over the last few years, the content of Twitch has seemingly shifted. What many call the React meta is at an all-time high, where streamers may react to all sorts of content, including LSF, which in turn can be clipped for even more content. It's undeniable that the current trends on Twitch lean towards this cycle. From clips to YouTubers, many creators bait streamers with easy consumable content to share with their viewers in real time.
Wait, isn't that what you're doing?
You shut your whore mouth, whose side are you on? LSF is a valuable tool in many ways. We'll be going into the pros and cons later in the video, but ultimately careers have been made or broken in this bizarre place. Having a high concentration of extremely engaged users thirsty for content is a goldmine, and farming Twitch clips to get on Livestream Fails is not that far-fetched either. But if you're not a regular, or maybe you're just not that into Twitch as a whole, you may be asking yourself a question that I find myself asking too. Why do people care?
That's the cutest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh my god!
Men, I know you can't imagine this, but women can be funny and we can make jokes.
Yes. Absolutely.
Livestream Fails in itself has become a type of meta content on Twitch. While many streamers rail against its community running wild, there's a ton of value in having a common place for broadcasters to catch up with their audience. Like a monologue at the top of talk shows, the LSF recap has become a staple in many streamers' arsenal. It's like a segment that can go on for an hour every stream, and in itself generate even more clips for LSF to post. But deep down, I think LSF has something special about it that might not be apparent at first glance. You see, a major draw for Twitch is the conversion of normal users to super users, or as I like to call them, people who just don't fucking stop consuming stream. I can't say this. Or people who just don't stop fucking consuming streams, as I like to call them. Speaking personally, there was a turning point suddenly where I found myself downloading Better Twitch TV, an extension to show other emotes, Chatterino, a chat client to manage all the stream chats I'm in, and then started getting into all these stupid inside jokes I've been running around for years. I suddenly found myself being more engaged. The further I went, the more I watched other streams, the more I got the jokes, the more I wanted to be there. There's even a meta on what the popular fan-made emotes are on these external Chrome extensions. Can we just pause for a moment and realize how bizarre the concept that is? There's a meta on Twitch where you install an external client to change the emotes and make new emotes that then people use often for jokes that you only get if you have the extension.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we're caught up.
Half of Twitch's culture is about getting the inside jokes, and the other half is, I don't know, speedruns or some shit.
Look at the fucking pace!
Communities are built on these memes. It's like being a part of the gang. It makes these streams kind of special when compared to other media. Being a part of something bigger than yourself is always a draw, and it has been for thousands of years. LSF is like a hub where all these communities meet. It's like the UN General Assembly, but for absolute fucking idiots, me included. What you have to realize is that if you get even half of the jokes, you're probably a highly engaged Twitch user, as weird as that sounds. But even if you go on LSF semi-often, you're probably what Twitch Analytics considers a high engaged customer. There have been examples of LSF even making careers for people. Again, clips are the perfect way to share viral content of Twitch, and having a place as a homepage for that is huge. Plenty of smaller creators get a boost off of the sub, and established streamers get another moment in the spotlight too. It cannot be denied, though, that Twitch is a huge discovery problem. There's a reason most people grow or get their starts from other platforms. A ton of streamers attribute high levels of growth to YouTube and other places because inherently Twitch just sucks to get noticed on. Even despite adding functionality to recommend smaller streamers, I'd wager most people don't even use the homepage of Twitch. Most of the streams on there are either events, brands, or safe and approved content that honestly just doesn't really feel like the essence of what Twitch is about. It's sanitized. Even streamers who are huge who get on the front page are asked to tone it down, which just seems so alien to me. And okay, look, I get it, I really do. Twitch is trying to break into normalization, they're trying to go beyond simply gaming. They're trying to get into markets where being brand safe and not cursing or talking about certain issues is paramount. I just think there's a divide between this and what the most dedicated users are here for. And it's this contrast, it's this division that lets things like LSF rise up. I want to reiterate just how perfect the concept of Twitch clips are for a second. Like really, you're letting any user on your website capture any moment live as they happen. They're easily shareable and they feed traffic back to that original streamer. It's insane. Live broadcasts inherently drive FOMO too.
That's fear of missing out. Cool acronym, dude.
You literally have people who don't want to miss out, crave a way to catch up, and on top of this, you can't watch every stream at once. So clips just let you engage with a wide array of creators, not just an individual. Hopefully you now see why it's so fucking annoying that they don't just capitalize on this further. It's like they've built the perfect car and just painted it like this. And also forgot to give it mirrors so you can't look yourself in the eye and see the shame. I honestly think Twitch has had the means to create a front page for the clip system for years. They probably even had this mocked up internally. But this brings into play something every major social media company's had to deal with for years. Major platforms cannot just let the most viral, popular content rise to the top unsupervised. Inherently, a system like this would encourage dangerous or shocking behavior. Graphic violence or sexual content could potentially spiral out of control, and suddenly you have a major organization showing it to their entire audience, burning all hopes and dreams of advertising relationships. Can't have that. So to avoid that, a clip's front page would need to be moderated, which means a human would need to decide, does this align to our brand values? For years, companies like YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter have explicitly claimed they are not media companies. They are not responsible for what their users put out there. They are not editorial. While some tone shifts had happened in recent years, such as the spotlight on Facebook during their congressional hearings, there are examples of this in action. A great example is the development of YouTube's trending page. Now, according to the actual definition, the requirements are simple. Does it appeal to a wide range of viewers? It can't be misleading, clickbaity, or sensational. The aim is to have videos capture the breadth of what's happening on YouTube and in the world. Okay, that's as vague as possible. And it has to show a diversity of creators. That's also a weird one, given at any time the top 50 trending videos, in my experience, only 10 aren't music videos or major brand content. And the final point is they ideally have to be surprising or novel, but again, not sensational. They're also very specific in this article about validating the content is safe, which is good, and more interestingly, they don't accept payment and make sure at least half of these videos are from creators who primarily make content for YouTube. Don't know about that one, but hey, maybe the days I checked on multiple days were just off days. I'm sure. Then again, I'm fairly sure trending is also location-based, so your mileage may vary. To circle back to some semblance of a point, or to try to anyway, I don't know guys, this video thing is exhausting. Social media companies really don't want to appear as heavy-handed with their editorial choices. The internet environment is, dicey as of late. Yeah, let's go with that.
Have you looked outside? The world is on fucking fire.
To not alienate their audience, especially racist for some reason, these companies try to not take stances on anything, unless, you know, all their cool corporate brand buddies say something's bad, then it's time to take a stand. Jesus, remember when COVID happened and we got all those emails about how fucking Todd's mattress store for mattresses and cushion-related comfort sent an email around how they're committed to safety in this pandemic? Every company in the world wants to be seen doing the right thing until it proves difficult. H-Bomber Guy actually has a really amazing video on this if you're interested, and I'll leave that in the description to check out. Back to where I was though, there's simply a lot of social liability with curating a front page of popular Twitch content that seems worthwhile. And I haven't even gone into the DMCA nightmare attached with it. Now, admittedly, there is a channel or category based way to search for clips, but I feel like that just separates communities even more. And on top of that, the feature feels so buried I didn't even know it existed prior to doing research for this video. Honestly, I feel like the recommended clips on the page where you watch them is better at finding content than using this feature 9 times out of 10. But if the platform were to show an algorithmically based most popular clips and give it its own section, I truly do wonder how that would go. Would it be really that bad? A small part of me worries Twitch just assumes the worst of their most popular streamers, or maybe they have reasons to do so, who knows. I'd love to see clips become its own dedicated space on the site, right up there with the big boys in the top bar, with the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse known as following, browse, esports, and music? Wait, aren't they axing that one? Get them in there, coach, they're ready. Also, another thing to consider is that if they were to mimic the TikTok approach to UI, with the crazily intuitive function that just moves on to the next clip, it could easily have a perfect way to monetize it with ads. Especially given that the mobile user base is rising, this one seems like a no-brainer. You know, instead of forcing weirdly intrusive ads that could potentially ruin big moments. Side note, if they do monetize this to fuck in the future, and it's a mess, it is not my fault. Please do not butcher me, internet. I promise that the core idea is good. Please. More and more it seems like they found a golden goose and then butchered it for parts. And rightly so in my opinion. I've been chased by geese before. I've wandered a bit too close to a gander too many a time in my years on this planet. Dead to them all, I say. Those fucking feathered fascists. Except this one. This one's cool. Protect them at all costs. But overall, I think it's safe to say that something can be done to Twitch as a platform to incorporate the hype that LSF has generated. And every day they don't, LSF will grow rapidly, becoming more ubiquitous alongside their brand. Livestream Fails is capitalizing on something magical that Twitch is ignoring. Like a neglected relationship and a tennis coach, or the planned relationships in my own head that still seem to somehow go wrong, which doesn't really actually make sense. These are my own damn fantasies. I hate it here. So this is the part of the video where we talk about the other side of the coin. We've explained why LSF became so popular, and now let's actually chat about what I've been avoiding this entire video, the actual issues with this little slice of hell. Which, for reference, still tastes like normal cake, but you might just start calling your parents fucking cringe and overanalyzing the reactions to things if you have a slice. It's probably because they have a secret gambling addiction or a drug abuse problem. What I'm describing, of course, is... Wait, cue the buzzword effects?
The what?
You know, the buzzword effects for when I say a cool word and then we do the editing thing.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know, the YouTube thing where we make it look all cool and parasocial relationships. Parasocial relationships are described as one-sided attachments that people form with media personas. Historically reserved for celebrities and sports personalities, the advent of internet people who do be having some followers has made these types of interactions skyrocket. Streaming in particular, with its hyper-personal and intimate nature, really adds a level of complication to the landscape. A core reason for these parasocial tendencies is the obsession with those at the top of the social hierarchy. Nurtured by the media and a society that really does dictate fame equals value, this fascination with the top 1% of any field isn't anything new. But when you have a direct line into someone's home, can send them donations where they respond, or even just consume a sheer volume of content, it's understandable why parasocial interactions are a commonplace on Twitch. Something I don't see being mentioned around this topic, especially in relation to live streaming, is that these types of relationships aren't always purely positive and fanatical. Now, typically, a lot of study into the negative twist on these one-sided interactions explores people's prejudices to groups of individuals, most commonly minorities or religions. An observation in the parasocial contact hypothesis acknowledges that once changing a held belief creates more trouble than ignoring it, change is significantly less likely to happen. They go on to say that the number one way to remedy these negative biases is positive contact with the group they hold negative opinions of. These findings put the main criticisms of LSF into context. A huge point of contention when it comes to the subreddit is about whether the discourse is critique or something more malicious. Perpetuating a negative narrative around a creator could cause others to let it be the default. If it's easier to accept something than reflect and challenge it, it will be accepted. For the sake of maintaining a fair explanation here, it must be noted that LSF has undergone a few rule changes over the past year to curb a lot of the malevolence when it comes to hate threads. Taking a closer look at the wording of the main rules surrounding harassment leaves a lot to be desired, however. While they flat out do not tolerate discrimination or out-of-context clips with the sole purpose to defame someone, even if that definition sounds kind of loose, I want to focus on two of their key rules here. The first is about personal attacks, which explains how they don't tolerate posts with the intention of attacking others. Specifically, they say the rule is moderated more loosely when the post is directed at streamers. While clarifying this is not a free pass to harass broadcasters, the justification claims that users would find a way around the rules to express negative opinions if the rule was moderated more harshly. I don't even know what this means, and from a first glance, it kinda seems like a bit of a cop-out. More clarification on exactly why users can't have their more colorful opinions being reined in would be nice. The second rule I want to draw attention to is the one about unsourced allegations. While the rules claim making unproven allegations with the intent to damage someone's reputation is not allowed, sharing allegations made by parties from outside the sub can be posted under the guise of journalism. Wouldn't this mean that finding a Twitter personality that shares your opinion and you know it's false is a quick way to spread false allegations? I wonder, if I were to post a clip about how someone was making terrible baseless allegations, would that be allowed? If the content is saying, hey, look at this guy and what he's saying, that's not me spreading false information, it's just giving his bad take a platform. If the news is about the crazy guy spouting the nonsense, his message is still distributed, even if we agree it's nonsense. And if the message goes far enough, we don't know if people will understand it's nonsense. This one, I feel, could potentially be abusable. Punishments are dished out if the spread of misinformation is found to be from malice, not ignorance. And if I'm being honest, I'd say most posts on Reddit are probably based on ignorance. It can be difficult at times, but on any given day, it does feel like LSF has a distinct opinion on things. The hive mind likes this stream or thinks this one is cringe. They pick apart the slightest expressions. More than once I've seen entire discussions around someone's blank face appearing as bored and making assumptions. I've seen suggestions of gambling addictions, drug use, relationship chatter.
Oh god, that's one.
Anything really. Parasocial interactions give people a warped idea of those they consume. Streamers are viewed as characters in the great play that is Twitch, while LSF is the reviewer who approves or dismisses the content. I mean, look at the subreddit right now. Everyone's just talking on whether or not Among Us is good or bad content. It's a nightmare. Have you ever been in a part of a city that's not that well kept? You notice that there's significantly more litter here, and generally the place is more messy and run down. Many would attribute the lack of upkeep to the type of area you're in. You know, this seems less approachable or safe might cross your mind. Using this example, it's a fair assumption that the presence of litter is strongly predictive of more littering. I mean, there's lots of stuff around this. People are more inclined to throw their shit on the ground if there's already rubbish scattered around. Well, the same can be applied to forums. If users see, well, let's call it an expressive post about a streamer, and that isn't taken down immediately. Let's say in the comment section, and oh boy, what's this? A spicy take. The presence of this opinion means that it's an approved thing to be said. If it's a top comment, and it isn't removed quickly, people will assume it's meant to be there, and it's allowed. Let's say, despite being quite harsh, it gets the upvotes and it is at the top of the thread. Well, in that case, it could be assumed that this is what people actually believe to be true. If it has a lot of upvotes, it will seem as if that's the general opinion. Most people on Reddit don't realize that usually the comments that get to the top are made within the first 10 minutes of the thread, so it's really the die-hard people who have these opinions that are the ones that are going to grow. It's a subtle shift in the environment. This tailoring of the landscape can cause opinions to shift, and it all comes down to how well the cleanup operation is. Moderation is key to maintaining a community. While it's probably too soon to tell if LSF's updated policies will be effective in the long term, especially with the whole Among Us craziness going on, Jesus, it's like Monopoly at Christmas where my aunt has had a few too many Bacardis. I think LivestreamFails is destined to always have a more negative sentiment than good. That's just the nature of the internet, especially in gaming-based communities. Even still, I believe it can improve from where it was just a few months ago, really being a hotspot for destructive behavior. There is, however, one more part to this whole equation. As mentioned previously, parasocial relationships exist purely because of the interaction between streamer and viewer. A large part of this relationship is placing the streamer in a higher social category and in turn creating higher expectations for them. A lot of streamers are relatable because they're fairly normal, cool people, but to the internet, they may just be thought of as paragons for all that is just and right. And when that belief is broken, well, I guess we have a problem on our hands. It's no doubt that with more exposure comes more scrutiny, and I think this is a major reason why the internet can be so goddamn frustrating at times. Everyone has a comment when someone seems larger than life. LivestreamFails plays an interesting part in this concept. Generally, the sub rotates around a few key streamers for a short period of time, bouncing back and forth between love and hate. These videos usually take a while for me to work on, but the current most popular thing seems to be XQC taking Among Us very seriously. And Jesus, I know I've mentioned a few times in this video, but I really hope this meta ends. I'm just tired, guys. I'm so tired. Regardless of anyone's thoughts on this situation, depending on the month, a major broadcaster can be seen as either the hero or the villain, and this cycle can really tear people down. Despite how it may seem, not everyone can use money and fame as a shield against being trashed online. I mean, first of all, they should be dodge rolling. Fucking idiots. Now, thankfully, we actually have a window into this. It's not just speculation. Dr. K, the creator of Healthy Gamer, an organization that helps with mental health in gaming communities, runs a series of very interesting interviews with prominent creators on his stream. Going over their issues, both personal and professional, we get a look into the life behind thousands of fans and critics. It's objectively interesting even if you don't watch the streamers. I'd recommend all of them. Seeing other people open up about such unique experiences is heartwarming, especially when Dr. K can impart some hard-hitting recommendations and insights. Why I bring this up, however, is to highlight the common tropes. Whether it's LSF or social media in general, popularity is not a direct counter to dogpiling. And now, I think critique and accountability are super important, but the internet definitely can put a unique spin on how they deliver criticism. But the thing is, even if something isn't exactly super toxic, if it's on the line, it'll be lumped in on top of that. It's a scary thought here, but just try and imagine this for a moment. You not having enough time in your day to read all of the bad things people say about you. Not think, say publicly. It's an overwhelming thought. The overanalysis, the negativity, the hive mind takes over, and for 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, it feels like an infection growing, and no matter how hard you try, you can't get rid of it. And then bam, YouTube Gaming will sign Asmongold or some shit and everyone forgets about what Among Us even is. I mean, remember when Tim the Tapman was on Fall Guys? How long ago do you think that was? On a more personal level, I've experienced this to a smaller degree. Back when I used to make YouTube videos on Call of Duty, I had my fair share of cruel comments, specifically around my appearance. While anecdotal, I definitely noticed the comment section getting more negative if it started with a few mean comments rather than coming later. It's probably because people think it's okay to say things if they see them already being said. Although I will say, since making videos and streaming again, I've felt nothing but love. Oh, you didn't know? I stream, by the way. Gotcha. You really thought this was a serious documentary on the inner workings of the internet and Twitch? You dumb fuck. This is an ad for my Twitch channel. Twitch.tv/Outcaster, you fucking loser. Adblock won't save you here, bitch. Sorry, I don't know what came over me. That was weird. Circling back to my littering theory from earlier, I definitely felt like this was the case. There's just a natural disconnect when you're watching someone perform in any way, and while I understand that, I guess these experiences do make me empathize heavily, even when I see people with 100 times the audience I ever had go through it. We spoke previously about the darker side of parasocial interactions, and it's clearly evident that parasocial hatred can exist. The key difference being, while studies show that exposure to groups can reduce the us versus them attitude, I wonder why this isn't the case for streamers. I really couldn't find any related research on that, but I definitely think it's something worth more study, especially since hate watchers are a thing, and that's just insane. I'm not trying to say we all need to be super nice and positive, smile. This is more so an explanation, and to reiterate, there is a disconnect. What may come off as entitled really isn't. I don't think any performer should have to accept absolute vitriol and abuse as part of the job. I know this section might be a bit off tone with the rest of the video, but I definitely think it had to be included. In defense of LSF, accountability and critique should still be valid parts of any community, especially with people with massive platforms and influence. And despite what you may think, it actually was kind of difficult to find some examples of actual horrible levels of abuse on front page threads. It was mostly just a lot of on the line or borderline bad comments. I guess this does, however, open up the question of what's worse. 10 people telling you to die, or 1,000 telling you your work is trash. I did spend quite a lot of time thinking about how to change things. And for what it's worth, I think we can all agree improving any community is a slow and arduous process. Nothing can be done overnight or by one person alone, but with enough time and measurable changes, the pendulum will shift. Earlier, we spoke about how moderation is key for any community to live on the internet, and Livestream Fails has been good at moving in the right direction. They've purged mods that didn't align with their team's new values, and they've actively tried to recognize the sub as more of a community than just a dump for spicy clips. With LSF hitting 1 million subs, it's clearly a large part of the Reddit community, which has its own fair issues with keeping the peace. There's about to be a lot more people getting swept in from r/all than ever before, and we'll see this over the next few months. I also think an element of the solution is on the individual, but that's pretty much don't be a fuckhead. I mean, I don't really have much else to say here, just don't be an asshole, I guess. I mean, if you're gonna be an asshole, at least don't actively try to contribute to hurting someone, maybe direct that energy at something else, I don't know, playing League of Legends. On the streamer side, I guess the biggest lesson I could pull from all my research is that LSF likes to celebrate wins just as much as fails. While this video did focus more heavily on the darker side of the sub, there's plenty of wholesome content that hits the front page, and this is paramount in making sure the community thrives. It's just sometimes metas pop up on Twitch and LSF that makes wholesome moments harder to get through the noise. I mean, again, right now, if you look at the front page, it'll probably be mostly the same stuff. Honestly, just leveraging large platforms to do more good in general will always be beneficial. Things like HeyW getting signal blasted, and rightfully so, for their amazing animation work, or Mizkif helping broadcast multiple talented artists' stores are just 2 examples I can think of. I'm sure there's many more that are getting overshadowed by people screaming about Among Us, but the thing is trying to get these through the noise and helping people, I don't know, be shown off. I wonder what the next Twitch medal will be, but hopefully it's a bit more wholesome. The next part of the puzzle is Twitch itself. I think making a Clips front page that's a bit more tame and having LSF as a community can coexist. If Twitch creates my suggested front page, modeled after TikTok or Instagram Reels, I think it could be an excellent tool for smaller streamers in discovery. Gee, imagine that. Imagine actually using your genius idea for good. I guess it's also a nice compromise to avoid the whole editorial bias thing. Hey, you can't get flack for censoring political clips to certain audiences if you blame it on an algorithm. Wait a second. Overall, I want to end this in a hopeful tone. The internet is amazing, and the fact any of the things I mentioned even exists here is bewildering to me. The fact that some kid who's good at a video game can just grab a C920 and a scuffed headset mic and make a difference is so cool.
Imagine having a scuffed mic though, fucking loser.
The fact a business can be saved or made on the back of a few streams. The fact that charities can get a breath of life on their dying days. The fact that millions of people get to have an outlet, a place to actually relax despite the world burning, is so fucking cool. And sure, it can be bleak at times. It can be toxic at times. It can make the 15th thread about XQC playing Among Us for that day, and it can still be something beautiful despite that. And hey, you know, at the end of the day, thinking about Twitch, thinking about Livestream Fails and how they interact, we have to remember and be grateful for the most important thing of all. At least it's not YouTube. Hey guys, it's me for the end of YouTube video monologue thing. Just want to say thanks so much for all the support in the last video. I really appreciate it. And if you made it this far on this one, leave a like and a sub. It's a bit of a meme, but it actually does help a lot. And hey, actually, if you really enjoyed it, feel free to share this video around. I know that there's like a lot of people in the community who probably have really interesting takes on the things I said. I know I said a lot, I get that, but I also put a lot of work into this. So if you think anyone in particular would really enjoy watching this, send it their way or share it with whoever. Your grandma, your mum, your weird wacky professor from your liberal arts degree. I don't know, whatever. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there. Thanks so much, and hey, I'll be back with another video, hopefully not with such a delay this time. These videos do take a lot of work, and I put a lot of research, editing time, recording time, writing time into them, so I'll try to make it a month, but hey, we'll see. But yeah, thanks so much, and hey, have a nice day. See ya.